Hey everybody, this is Marcia Whyte with GratitudeSpeak, your life and business coach, coming to you today on Friday. Happy Friday, everybody, or as a lot of people say, Fry-yay, with a quick note on facing and challenging fear. I have a really awesome coach who is also my friend, and she is a beast at her craft. And last night, she was sharing with us on Facebook how she had literally begun to check off things on her. I'm going to, face fear down and challenge it and just kind of knock it to the curb. And so she has a list, and on that list was something that I could never see myself doing, but it was on her list and she checked it off. And one of the things that struck me about her, because she is constantly, it's no secret, she is a fear challenger. She challenges not only her own fear, but she challenges those who she works with and those who she cares about to face and challenge our fears as well. And I have learned so much from her and respect her so much for what she brings to the table, because she is the ultimate in authenticity. She always shares powerful lessons. And it got me to thinking, maybe my fear is not the same as hers. Yours is not the same as mine. And that's all okay, because we're all wired differently. But the common theme is we all have fears. And I say fears plural, because we all face many things. But last night when I was listening to her and we were breaking down how those things can often manifest. They manifest in different ways that we may not even recognize as fear. For instance, when we procrastinate, that really is just fear, because we're afraid to start or afraid to finish whatever it is we've set our mind to. When we just talk about doing something but never make the decision to act and implement, that too is fear. Now, fear, there's a common saying, and I can't remember who it's attributed to, and I guess for this purpose it really doesn't matter, but fear has two meanings: face everything and run, or face everything and rise. Hey, Kayla, thanks for being here. And the choice is always ours to make, and sometimes it's going to vary situation by situation, and that's okay, as long as you begin to take stock of how those, thanks for the love, I appreciate it. If you want to share it out, that'd be great. As long as we begin to see a pattern, we can determine what kinds of things cause the biggest fear in us, or bring up the biggest fear in us. Hey, Jennifer, thank you. And we can begin to address that, because here's the thing. You all know I'm a preacher, former pastor, and I preached a sermon series borrowed from a colleague called "You Have to Face It to Fix It." And that's in anything in life, whatever challenges, whatever fears are brought up. And so you can't face it unless you can name it, okay? Even if it doesn't have a formal title, this situation challenges me. It brings up something that does not serve me well. And you have to do it for you. You can't do it for anybody else. You can do it to inspire them. You can do it to, quote, motivate them or to reflect on. But you have to face and fix your fears for your own good. And I'm just coming from lunch with a client. And we were talking, and she was complimenting me. She's a wonderful person. And she was saying, "Marcia, you are so fearless, and you get up here." We were talking about my social media visibility, which you all know I worked really hard at. So I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, because those are my 4 jams. And it started out last year when I did a self-imposed 30 videos in 30-day challenge, because I'm crazy like that. But I also know I had to name what it was. I had to make up my mind what it is I wanted, and I wanted to have a real presence, or begin to build a real presence on YouTube. And I was scared to death. So what I did is, this was even before I met the friend and coach that I was referring to at the beginning of this. I did an accountability thing. I let you all, my Facebook friends, fans, and followers, be my accountability partners. I let everybody know I'm about to do this challenge. And as I started the challenge, then I would say, I'm in the middle of this challenge. Would you watch? Would you share? Would you help me promote it? Because I was competing against myself, and Lord knows, as mild-mannered or as laid back as some people think I am, there is a real competitive edge that I have. I always have. And that's another whole backstory. But I made it through. I did 30 videos in 30 days on YouTube. So you can go to my YouTube channel, shameless plug, and subscribe. You can either look it up by GratitudeSpeak or you can look it up by my name. All right. And I'd appreciate that if you share. Because what I do often is, just as an aside, I put these videos now on YouTube so more people can get exposure to them. But it was a conscious decision to face not my fear of the camera, but to face whether I could come up with 30 days of consecutively doing the same thing, making content, broadcasting the content. Hey, Denise, making sure that people knew that I was prepared, that I could be, when I say prophetic, I don't necessarily mean in the spiritual sense, but that I was ready to proclaim my power, to share, to pour into people authentically, and to build my credibility and to build my confidence. Yes, sometimes I suffer with insecurities too. But that I could come up with content necessarily on the almost on the fly. And so now I know that, and so I'm not afraid of that anymore. Sometimes, thank you, sometimes I don't do it as great as I'd like to. But, you know, I realized once I started doing it and getting into the groove, it came naturally. And since content is everywhere, and I always look and listen for the teachable moment, I can bless somebody. I can encourage somebody. Hi, Darius. Thanks for being here. And so that has helped me serve people and reach people that I normally would not have had the opportunities to offline, if ever, or at least they made it possible for me to have seen them sooner rather than later, or them to have seen me. And so while I may not ever be as fearless as my friend, because just FYI, she jumped out of a plane at 30,000 feet. She went skydiving. That is not on my list. That holds absolutely no interest of mine. And that's okay, because that was her fear. She did it alone. She didn't go with a group of friends. She did it by herself. All right. She didn't take any friends and family members. She drove herself there to the hangar and came back. And she said, you know, it was such a rush. But the fact that she was able to pour into us and say, you've got to face it. You've got to challenge it. You've got to stare it down in the face. I don't care what it is. It can be what you consider a minor thing, but let me tell you something. Minor things blow up into major things if we don't address them. You know, and I hate to be gross, but think about it. If you get a cut, it may just be a minor paper cut, but if you don't clean that puppy, if you don't deal with it right then, it can grow and fester and become a raging infection, almost to the point sometime in extreme cases, like our veterans did in some of these foreign wars. You know, anything can happen. Gangrene can set in and you lose limbs. Hey, Hillary. And hi, Jerry. The thing is, you don't want anything to get to a point where not only is it out of control, but you too are out of control. Hi, Terrence. Good to be. I'm honored to have you on here. You never want anything to control you. You always want to be in control of your circumstances. That's right. You know, that's my hometown, Hillary. Chi-town. I hope you're on the south side. That's the best side. But anyway, you always want to be in charge of you. You want to be in charge of your faculties. You want to be in charge of your content. You want to be in charge of your image. You want to be in charge of everything that is about you, especially in the business world. And let me tell you why. It speaks to your integrity, your consistency, your authenticity, your credibility, your visibility, all of that. And as you gain that, you gain trust, you gain the likability factor, you gain the familiarity factor, and that is how you convert people not only to raving fans. Hello, Miss Mia, but you also can convert them at some point into paying clients. because they already have a sense that they can count on you. And when you challenge them to get past their fears, their insecurities, whatever it is that they're facing, they can say, well, I guess she's the one that's in a position to push me. Or I guess he knows what he's talking about. Why? Because I've seen him do it. I've seen him call it into existence. I've seen him stare it down, and say, not today. I'm coming out on this side. And that's exactly what I try to do. That is why I show up. Are there days when I don't feel like being bothered with live streaming? Absolutely. Are there days when I don't feel like pushing the covers back in the morning? Yes. Are there days when I'm so exhausted or so down or so, that's right, Southside, whoop, whoop. Hey, Linda. There are days, thank you for being here, David, there are days when I don't want to be bothered with anybody. And believe it or not, I'm going to tell you, and she's on this broadcast, so you know who I'm talking to, that people do not understand, people do not accept when I tell them, I tried, Denise, that I am really an introvert. To me, live streaming is like looking in the mirror talking, except I just have to watch the feed and engage. But other than that, I feel like I'm looking in the mirror because I can't see anybody. So my energy is a little bit tempered than it would be if I was in a live audience where I can really, really expand. But this is what I'm called to do. And when you are walking in your purpose, then yes, way, ma'am. When you are walking in your purpose and doing what it is that you've been sent here to do, the naysayers kind of fizzle out after a while because they have to move on to somebody that's going to buy into their nonsense, and I'm not the one, all right? But I had to face that fear. I have to learn to turn on not a different, like an alter ego, but I guess maybe in a sense when you think about how Beyonce talks about Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. This is my stage. This is my platform. And so I do what I have to do to live and serve in such a way that people get me and I get a sense of what you need from me, what you want from me, what you can glean. I want to give you the nuggets, not trash food, but real nuggets of things that can help you in your life and help you in your business, because that's what I do. I do life and business coaching. Am I targeted? Absolutely, because I want to show up in my genius and not in a generic sense, because you deserve better, all right? So don't ever try to show up in the generic. Always show up in your genius, and that's my genius, the two areas of life and business coaching that I serve in. I also do professional speaking, so another shameless plug. If you need a speaker for your organization, association, company, I do a great job of that. We tailor, my story to fit that, because I've overcome a heck of a lot. Honey, in these few years that I've been on this planet, yeah, I'll tell you all soon, because I have a birthday coming up soon. But thank you for sharing. I really, really appreciate that. When you know you're called to do it, you put on your game face. When I come online, it's like I'm putting on my uniform. I have to put on my extrovert abilities. That's my uniform, just like I'm putting in, hey, Mike, I have to put on my sweater. I have to put on my extrovert. And I have to do what it is that I do. I have to become Marcia Whyte of GratitudeSpeak, which is a part of me. Oh my gosh, the LinkedIn professor is here, y'all. I better become real correct. But yay, sunshine. It's a garment that I wear proudly. I can take it off whenever I want to. It is part of who I am. It is much of what I do, because when I'm asking people to pay me, when I'm asking people to invest in what I can bring to the table, you don't want to say, well, what has she done? What does she stand for? What is she really about? How does she serve? And how often does she serve? These are the things that are in my extrovert cape, my extrovert jacket or sweater. And I take that responsibility very seriously, very seriously. Some of it because I'm just kind of a nurturer by nature. Ask my kids and my family. But also because I really believe, I really know that I know why I'm here and who I'm here for. If that's not you, that's okay. No harm, no foul. But I will ask you to think about who you know that I might be able to serve. And if I am here for you, take the chance, click the link in the title to this video and get on my calendar. I will tell you, I am comfortable enough and fearless enough that if it's not going to be a good fit for either you or me, I'm going to tell you that. Do I work to pay my bills? Yeah, because I have this really weird habit of wanting to eat every day, sometimes even twice a day, because baby, this is not a body by denial. But I want to be able to not choke my food down. I want to be able to enjoy my food. I want to be able to sleep well. And I can't do that if I'm worried about cheating you. Cheating you out of money, cheating you out of good content, good coaching. None of that. At the end of the day, you know, there's a poem and it's too long to recite, but it's called, I want to be fit for myself to know. And so when I show up, how I show up, why I show up, that I show up is because I face and I challenge that fear every single day. And then once I get in my groove, I just kind of go with the flow, you know. I'm not scripted. That would probably serve you all a lot better, but it's just not how I roll. But there's so much in me that has to come out because I want the best for you. And here's the thing. I can't worry about how you receive it as much as that you know it's available for you to receive. Because I'm very clear on my role. All right? It's for me to lay out, but it's just like when I was pastoring, and I will tell you this, and I used to stay in trouble with the authorities, but, you know, hey, that's how rebels are. When I would offer the invitation to the communion table, I would say to them, the table is set, the invitation has been extended, whosoever will, let them come. If you didn't come to get communion, that wasn't on me. When I cooked for my family at home, and I'm a doggone good cook because I'm trained. I mean, I've had culinary education. I don't have a degree. My degree is not in culinary education, but I've got extensive culinary training. So my kids and my husband did not eat out of a box. But when I fixed dinner, if they didn't want it, it was no skin off my teeth. But understand this, I didn't run a short order kitchen. I knew the quality that I delivered. I knew the quality that I was charged with delivering. I knew how often I needed to deliver. And if they didn't want to take advantage, it's like, okay, we didn't have those, it's children starving in China, you know, conversations and you're ungrateful. We didn't have any of that. Hi, Miss Lady Tran. We didn't have any of that. I did what I was supposed to do. I faced down, you know, the fear of a new recipe, or in this case, the fear of a new content. Girl, it was them. We always had raw vegetables. We always had fruit. And we always had cereal, milk, and lunch meat and bread. If they didn't want what came off the stove, go for it. If you can't deal with what I'm putting down, there are other coaches. I'm not the one, and I am not. Yes, but Brussels sprouts are your jam now. But if you can't deal with how I am, that's fine. No harm, no foul. I'm not for everybody, and you know what? I ain't afraid to say I'm okay with that, because you may not be for me either. But you may know somebody, and I have to show up for them. I have to show up for you. I have to show up for me. Because at the end of my day, I have to be fit for myself to know. I have to be able to look in that mirror at that woman that, I don't wear a lot of makeup, but that which, I mean, I have on eyes, and oh my gosh, I don't even have on any lip gloss. Y'all didn't tell me that. Anyway, I have to look at me, raw, unfiltered, and say, did you do what you were supposed to do? I'm not attached to the outcome. All right? As my mentor says, it's not that I don't miss shots. It's that I never stop swinging. That's how you know that you are ready, or that you are in a position to conquer fear. You can challenge it and say, not today, I ain't the one. You need to go place in another field. Okay? You keep swinging. And eventually those obstacles, eventually those fears begin to dissipate and evaporate. The noises begin to get quieter and quieter. That does not mean that they ever stop. It's like, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but I'm a Christian, so I'm going to say it. It's like the Bible says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. It did not say the weapons wouldn't form. It just says they won't prosper. When you face your fears, when you stand up and be courageous, guess what? The weapons still gonna come. They just gonna be like, well, we may have to find a different target, or we may have to find a different angle, and that's okay. You know, I got 4 eyes. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm a mama, so I got them in the back of my head too. So there's lots of ways that I can get past the fears. It's pretty hard to surprise me. It ain't impossible. But this ain't my first rodeo. All right? And I'm proud of that. You know, I got battle scars and fox cutters. Yeah, that's another whole live stream, Denise. But I'm coming bringing something to fight the fear, to challenge it, to stare it down. You know why? Because I'm called to show up for you. I'm called to challenge you. And I want to do it with authenticity. I want to do it with integrity. I want to do it with consistency. I want to be able to do it with generosity. And so that's what this whole thing was about. So I want to encourage you. I don't know who this is for. Please share this out. You don't know who it's meant for. But once I put it out there, it's like the table set. The invitation has been extended. Whosoever will, they'll get the message. So if you would, like to talk with me, and I'd love the opportunity to talk with you and see how I can serve you in whatever form that takes. I may have to refer you out depending on what it is. I know my lane, and I'm real clear. I have no problem staying in it. All right? Because I got enough to do in this lane. I don't need to be taking on everybody else's stuff. Plus, I'm old now, and I won't do everybody else's job. Please click on the link. Get on my calendar. Oh, by the way, it's in Eastern Standard Time. So if you're not in that time zone, please, ma'am, please, sir, adjust your calendar accordingly. And we will get that done. You'll have 30 uninterrupted minutes with me, and I will tell you if I think it's going to work, and we will take it from there. No pressure. I don't need that. Because if I got to pressure you to work with me, it's not a good fit. All right? Because I'm dealing with adults. You all who know me well, offline and online, know that I don't try to raise grown folks. I've done my share of the good mommy duty, and all of mine tell me they're grown. I'm not quite sure sometimes. But I know that I'm fully grown. And I'm here to set an example. I'm here to do what I need to do. And that is to serve you. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend or the rest of your week. I will be back probably on Monday and ready to serve you with something else. But in the meantime, I want to issue an invitation to some and a challenge to others to face one fear. It can easily be identified of the thing that you've been putting off, because procrastination is nothing more than fear. Getting angry about things that don't even warrant that kind of energy so that you don't have to do it. That's another form of fear. Ignoring a problem is another kind of fear. Stop it. Let your brilliance shine. There's a whole lot of mess, a whole lot of noise right now in our country and in our world. And if you would be able to shine your light, however dim you think it is, that could be the one beacon, the one pinhole size ray that somebody is looking for. So don't shortchange yourself, and don't shortchange the world that's waiting for you. I wish you abundant blessings. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk soon. Bye.